WCW Monday Nitro, also December 11th of the year 2000.
Actually, I drooled. I was so passionate about that statement.
It was actually on Tuesday. It was 12/12.
Was it?
It was a Tuesday.
You know what? They did mention at one point Thunder was the next night. I will amend
Well,
my
they
notes.
mentioned that Starrcade was 5 days away, which was not a Saturday.
So every episode of Nitro must open with a dumb skit where the payoff is Jeff Jarrett hitting somebody with a guitar.
What is this?
I think this guy was supposed to be spoofing Emeril Lagasse.
Okay.
He was a chef. He was making gumbo and etouffee. He was making jokes about Bam.
It made Rob very interested.
It was the worst impression of anyone I've ever seen. Like, to the point where, like I say, I think it was Emeril Lagasse. Anyway, Jarrett hit him with a guitar. I don't know what's going on or why I should care.
He ruined the gumbo, too.
Probably did. Here's clips of Steiner destroying Arn and Lex from Nitro last week, and Goldberg and Steiner brawling, and Sid also out there. Mike Sanders is a meeting with Lex Luger. Sanders says, yes, I will make that match.
They don't say what match.
They never say. I assumed Lex was in it until later. Lex says, I want somebody to prove they deserve the privilege of wrestling me. Ric Flair comes out for a promo. He says, Sid and Steiner are there, but they will play by the rules. They will not contact each other in this arena. They will not fight here in Shreveport. And everyone goes, boo! By the way, speaking of the way I just started booing on that microphone, what was up with Scott Hudson's audio in the show? Everything he said was peaking and scratchy and distorted.
I actually didn't notice.
Yeah, it's just me.
You know what I noticed is there was no Mark Madden.
There was no Mark Madden.
I noticed when women came out and there was no comments.
Oh, Stevie Ray called him
Well,
yaks.
yeah, Stevie Ray was back. So
Well, I mean, Stevie Ray's there, but I'm talking like...
he got retired like 2 weeks ago or whatever.
So Flair says if Steiner breaks these rules, he will strip him of the title. Never says what will do to Sid. He warns Steiner that Sting...
Well, Sid won't get a championship match.
Well, Sid says that later. He warns Steiner that Sting and Booker T and Arn Anderson might all be here tonight. So he brought Steiner back just to threaten him. Tonight, it is Steiner versus, I'm not making this up, Sergeant AWOL.
Yes.
For the World Heavyweight title.
That's the main event tonight.
World Champion
Wall.
It's the Wall brother.
Mike Sanders comes out and he starts to talk about how he's going to make a match of his own tonight. And Tony Schiavone, who I can only presume also just got done watching that Foley segment, says, and I quote, "Make the match already."
So it's something with the Thrillers and the Insiders. I don't care. Flair announces, you can make that match, but I'm booking a match as well. It's you versus Sid Vicious. And if you don't do that match, you are not the commissioners anymore. And if the Thrillers interfere, they are history. So after the match has been booked, we then see a clip from earlier today where Scott Steiner is beating up Lash LaRue and the Wall makes the save.
Yeah, so they referenced it before they actually showed it to us.
That's right.
They couldn't have shown this to open the show instead of that stupid chef gimmick.
The Jared has hit somebody with a guitar at the beginning of every show. That's the rules.
Gene interviews Sid. Sid is the one who is lucid enough to explain that if he touches Scott Steiner.
He doesn't even know what Steiner he's facing.
Then the
That's
match
his lucidity.
Yes, then the match at Starrcade is off. He promises Steiner will be hurt and says, you have pushed the original Madman too far. You will pain.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. So they're not allowed to touch in the building, but they can touch outside.
Apparently.
Okay. Why didn't Steiner just go the fuck outside?
That's a great question.
It took Steiner 2 hours to figure it out. That's the best answer I have. The Thrillers steal Goldberg's TV.
Who cares? Why did they steal Goldberg's?
Because he couldn't see what was going on in the ring. It plays in later. I can't remember where, though.
They stole the monitor in his locker room.
So he would not know who his opponent was.
God.
Exactly. Thank you. So he would know who his opponent was.
Sarge wants to find Mike Sanders. Disco calls him short.
Called him a midget.
Sarge, like a complete lunatic, just throws him against the wall and screams at him. Came off like a complete unlikable dick.
He came off as a guy with a Napoleon complex.
Well, that too.
A legit one.
That too.
What do you mean a legit one?
I'm talking legit.
I see.
Disco made a joke about, I didn't know midget wrestling was back. That's it? Sarge flipped his lid. They were talking about he was going to have a heart attack. He was purple. Over a short joke?
Lance says, Lance Storm does a promo. He and Major Guns are scheduled for a mixed tag against Cat and Miss Jones.
Why?
Who the hell knows?
Jesus.
Do not ask that, Brian. We'll be here all night. If the Cat loses, Lance said, he should sing the Canadian anthem on Thunder.
See, I'd like to hear that.
The Cat accepts, but only if Lance will sing the U.S. anthem on Thunder if he loses.
Lance says, fine, because I don't lose.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So this match starts, and somehow we were already 17 minutes into the show and nothing had happened yet.
Right.
Stevie says he is cheering for the Cat in this match because if the Cat has to sing on Thunder, quote, he'll kill us all.
Wow.
Major Guns has one dropkick.
It wasn't bad.
It was good.
It was a fine dropkick, and then some just god-awful brawling. So the women are brawling.
Miss Jones is so beyond horrible.
She's not trained. There's no way.
Oh, my God.
Running the ropes.
Oh!
So bad.
Forget that, anything. They just had the most horrific brawl.
They were in the match for like 80% of it.
Dude. And then Shat finally hits the feliner.
Elix tries to interfere. Duggan tries to interfere. Cat hits Lance with a 2x4 and then wins.
The key is Duggan wants out of this stupid group.
Yeah.
That's obvious because he overthrew the 2x4 to Lance.
Yes.
And he was like, oh, well.
Yes, he didn't
I
care.
think he, like James Duggan, the athlete who draws a check from World Championship Wrestling, he's wanted out of Team Canada like the whole time.
Right.
Anyway, at this point, I wrote in all capital letters, "What shit?"
Well, you're not wrong.
Goldberg arrives at the building.
Did anybody check out Thunder and see if Lance actually...
I did not.
I didn't either. I was going to.
Nor do I have any intention to.
Brian Emmett. I am.
You want some homework, Greg?
No.
Go watch Thunder.
No.
Tell me if Lance sings.
Absolutely not.
More from Jimmy
Well, we
Hart.
got Rob here. Short straw. It's just Thunder.
Even the announcers are sick of Jimmy Hart and the stupid wrestling DJs thing.
Yeah.
They're sick of everything.
Well, that's all
Everybody's sick of everything.
They got one foot out the door.
Lash is on the phone. General Erection is mad at him for being on the phone. He gives AWOL a pep talk for his match with Steiner. A pep talk, really, he just dresses them down. And also tells us Lash has a match against the franchise tonight.
New attitude, new look. By any means necessary. They got a new attitude and a new look? I didn't know that.
It was like 2 weeks ago, wasn't
They
it?
got the same
They look the
stupid
same.
music. Is that the actual MIA
No,
music?
that is the network's fault.
Fuck, this music is awful.
It is ungodly terrible.
It's so...
There was-
Like, who hated them?
I don't know.
I was waiting for clowns to come out, and then a bunch of clowns come out.
Oh, Craig. Sorry. There was a point, I forget what happened, they actually did play the actual Misfits in Action music. It's I need to say this, it's much better.
It can't be worse.
No. So we cut instantly, like from mid-sentence MIA to mid-sentence with the Natural Born Thrillers having a meeting. So I guess that tag match Sanders had booked was going to be a three-way.
Right.
Now he says it's going to be a four corners match, and for the fourth team, he has hired Chronic. This makes Vito upset because Chronic beat him up last week.
And I mean, somehow, I'm sure it's explained somewhere, but like, they were never in the match. Something happened in a hallway or something. Like, this show is so bad. Why are we wasting our lives?
Horrible episode of Nitro.
Jiminy Christmas. And then another fucking hardcore match.
Yeah.
Meng and Norman Smiley. They fight in the crowd. There's a fake Santa.
Hey.
Santa takes a bump. Norman does his screaming. Crowbar's on commentary pretending he's Gordon Soley.
Awful.
Santa hits the ring. He attacks everybody. Meng is blinded. Meng attacks... What's Paisley doing in the ring? Queewee's not even down there.
She came out with Ming.
Paisley came out with a Ming. She had a big giant afro to match his.
What?
And
You didn't see this?
Well, I saw it, but like, what?
He was... So Santa Claus blinds Ming with powder. Ming was so confused, he could not determine which of these men...
Maybe it was snow.
He could not determine which of these people was Norman Smiley and which was Paisley.
He grabs her by the neck. Queewee makes a save. Santa unmasks. It's Terry Funky. Just starts killing dudes with unprotected chair shots to the head. Everybody's dead. He wraps his chair around Meng's head. And then he says, I have a Christmas present. 11 hoes at the same time. Ho, 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 ho. 11 times.
I think he did 9.
It doesn't matter. He challenges Crowbar. Crowbar accepts. Funk kills him.
Now, for those of you, we did not mention this. When Santa Claus hit the ring and attacked the wrestlers, the referee called for a disqualification.
That's right.
Santa fucking hit the ring. Yeah. Why would that not be a DQ?
It was a hardcore match.
Oh, yeah. Jesus, God almighty.
I bring this up.
This show sucks.
I bring this up because what they did here, because Santa challenges Crowbar afterwards. Crowbar says it would be an honor to face you, and then Santa hits him with a chair and lays him out.
Yes.
So they booked a double disqualification in a hardcore match to build to a hardcore championship match.
Yeah.
When Santa hit the ring and got called for the DQ, I wrote, this is one of the worst segments I've ever seen.
And it only got worse.
That was before Ming couldn't tell which was Norman Smiley and which was Paisley.
I didn't even notice that they rang the bell. I was so busy watching everything else and trying to write down what happened.
This was an overwhelming amount of bullshit.
Now, does Crowbar have to wrestle Terry Funk or Santa?
I don't care.
Okay.
Who cares? Yeah, Jiminy Christmas.
Exactly. Santa.
Sarge goes to Mike Sanders.
First he wants Lex.
Yeah.
No, first he wants Lance. Then he says Lex.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
No one gives a shit anymore. He wants Lex. Sanders says, I can give you a match with Lex Luger on Thunder, but I need you to do something for me tonight. We don't find out what it is yet. The Heresies find a bunch of sandwiches.
Oh, God. So there's a big-ass long
It's
sandwich.
like a 6-foot sub.
Okay,
Yes.
so the filthy animals are in their locker room, and they have a monitor that for some reason is directed to catering.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're watching catering.
Sure.
Which, by the way, catering is there's one table with a really fucking long sandwich on it.
That's it.
Okay. So the Harris brothers walk in, they look at the sandwich, and they say, it's so big.
Right.
The filthy animals go, ha ha! Dick joke. So the Harris brothers start eating this fucking sandwich. All of a sudden, it's Conan and Kidman watching a monitor that's showing them catering.
Yes.
All of a sudden, the suitcase at their feet opens, and Ray is in the suitcase.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio Jr. was just camping out in a suitcase with Conan's feet on it.
Why?
I don't know.
No idea.
There was no room in the overhead.
Now, let's think about this.
So then they
But
announce...
before you announce, Brian, let us just think about this. We have seen the filthy animals have gone through the trouble to put a camera on the sandwich, and when the Harris brothers start to eat it, they start to laugh. Any moron, like, all you morons listening to me, right?
Yes.
You all know where this is going immediately, right?
Absolutely.
When Rey Mysterio pops up out of the suitcase in which he has been hiding for no reason, he declares, oh, the sandwiches I put laxatives in.
Yeah.
To explain to the absolute rock dumbest motherfucker what's going on here.
Vinny, are you watching these shows with us?
Sadly.
Okay. That's what we're talking about if you're watching this show.
That's who's left.
If you're watching this show live on purpose, okay, they probably had to explain this joke to
Hey,
you.
you just insulted me.
Probably.
This
I didn't mean
is
to, but...
the very bottom of the barrel.
God.
And people watch along with us. Can you
That's
believe
fine.
that?
That's like fun. But like to
Oh,
watch to watch this live
No.
when it aired live, like willingly, not part of your job. The joke had to be explained.
It's not fun to watch these shows, Brian. I just want that.
No, imagine watching them live in the year 2000 willingly.
You probably did. That's probably on your
No,
couch
it was
watching
my
this.
job.
Well, what is your job? I was just watching Nitro. Gene interviews Steiner. Steiner doesn't care what Flair says. If he sees Sid, he'll knock his ass out. AWOL is part of Ric Flair's plan to wear me down for Starrcade. But I don't care. You keep bringing him in, I'll keep knocking him down. Ric Flair is the babyface. Scott Steiner is the heel.
Yeah.
Running the gauntlet,
Vinny, this
overcoming all odds.
this doesn't even register compared to later.
We cut to Pam. It's a good thing she's hot.
Yeah.
And she was really hot this week.
Right.
She's trying to ask AWOL a question, and on like the fourth try, he gives up on her, and he just takes the mic and cuts his promo. Rection cuts a promo hyping up the Cajun versus franchise. Lash starts to talk, but something he says is, I guess, Chavo's new catchphrase, apparently. Because he said something, and Rection snaps and says, "You got that from Chavo."
Who could possibly care
I don't know.
about Chavo splitting away from the MIA?
I don't know.
I don't even think Eddie gave a shit.
I'm sure,
Nobody, no person living could care about this.
Sanders comes out in street gear. He says, "I have not been cleared medically. The match is off." Sid comes out in street gear. Sanders offers a handshake. Sid destroys him.
Forgot how much I loved Sid.
The match begins. Listen, Sid Vicious squashes
Yes.
are great.
They're the best.
You know, the thing about Sid is he was not
Any good?
He was not a great worker.
No, at all.
Okay, but you know what he was? He was a great professional wrestler.
Amen.
That's what he was.
And softball player.
And he got hired over and over because he looked like a professional wrestler.
Carried himself like a professional wrestler.
We need a Sid nowadays.
We really do.
Yeah.
We don't have one.
No. I don't think it was close. So Sid wins, and he cuts a promo. He quoted Stevie Ray. I think he said, "Suckers gots to know sometimes." Or sometimes it bees that way, he says. And Stevie Ray just dies laughing. Because at this point, the only reason these shows are being done is to amuse themselves.
Right.
The insiders go for a walk. And then Sid finds
I don't know what this was.
some guy.
Just killed
He
the dude.
finds some guy and says, "Give me the keys."
Yeah.
And the guy says, like, "What keys?" And says, "The keys to all the cars."
Yeah, when you show up for Nitro, you must surrender your keys to a guy.
It's a valet.
This guy did not have the keys, so Sid killed him and left.
And then presumably he found the keys.
As we saw later.
Yeah, he probably actually found the valet.
You know, so, well, we'll get to it. Now, what the fuck? So Sid finds the keys
He sure did.
because he goes outside and he drives all of the cars into a big circle.
Yes.
Okay. All right, okay. It's fucking dumb enough.
Why didn't they show this?
It's fucking stupid enough that the storyline is that everybody has to surrender their keys or everybody valets their car and that Sid can just go and get everybody's keys. Okay? That's stupid enough. How the fuck did he know what key opened what car?
That's a fair question, Brian.
Did they have a little fob dealie?
In
In the year 2000?
I guess not. That's true.
This fucking guy had to go to every single car with every single fucking key to find out which key opened which car.
Well, he already won his match. He had time.
The show's only 2 hours. That's a lot of cars.
Again, why didn't they show this?
Well, they did. Every now and then they'd show him behind the wheel going, ah! Am I wrong? That's what he did.
Yes.
What is the show?
Shit. Which one? Ours or theirs?
Yes. We cut to a random hallway. Maria is walking with Reno.
Maria is a hired actor. She's the worst actor. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
So is Claire Lynch.
Like, everyone always goes, oh, they always try to make these wrestlers be actors, but they're not actors. Well, here's an example of an actor who's a worse actor than the wrestlers who weren't actors.
So she tells Reno, "Don't attack Chronic." Reno sees Chronic, and he attacks Chronic. They kick his ass because he's Reno.
Right.
Vito makes the save. The Thrillers try to calm Chronic down. They say this is not part of the deal. We're out of the match. Stasiak tells them they have a bad attitude. Vito tells Reno they're brothers. They are back together again. I have no idea why. And for the love of God, do I not care.
Furthermore,
All caps. I have no idea what's going on. That's what I wrote.
Sanders wanted to book Chronic in a Four Corners match against the Perfect Event, also Jindrak and O'Hare and Page and Nash. So they got two teams of Thrillers, and now there's only one other opposing team, and they were upset because Chronic didn't want to do the match. Hello?
They're not very bright. They don't think these things through. So the match ends up being the Insiders versus the Perfect Event versus Jindrak and O'Hare.
Okay, so there was one good spot in this match, which was the three-way sleeper jaw jacker. Okay? Just want to get that out of the way.
All right.
Okay.
What in the hell happened in this match? Does anybody know what happened?
Basically.
Okay, tell me.
It was
I was lost.
It was sloppy. It was
Yes.
not very good. Now, I will say this. Nash and Paige, the crowd still saw them as megastars.
Mm-hmm.
So this had more heat than pretty much anything else in the show. So Nash makes a comeback, but he gets cut off. They lay him out, and O'Hare hits the senton.
Okay.
So Nash is out. Now, even though it's technically a three-way match, obviously the Thrillers are all working together, so it's realistically a handicap match. So Paige tries to run wild. He has a diamond cutter on somebody, but they hit him with a belt. And then Nash, who is still selling the senton, gets pinned by Palumbo.
Wait a second. No one hit Nash with a belt?
No one hit Nash with the belt.
You got to be kidding me.
No.
Okay. When this match is over, they drag Nash towards the post and they go to commercial.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So they go to commercial. Commercial's 4 minutes or whatever. They come back and now Nash is at the post.
Well, it took him a while.
I think
He's either been at the post for 4 minutes or it took him 4 minutes to get him to the post.
I believe they did say this was during the break.
Okay, well, one or the other. The important thing is they crotch him on the post and they start ramming his knee into the metal post.
Well,
okay.
kinda.
He ain't selling this at all.
I believe he was actually asleep.
He was. That's why I thought he got hit with the belt. Because I was like, this fucking guy took a belt shot so that he could not sell getting his leg rammed and he could just lay there. Now I find out he didn't even get knocked out. He took a senton.
Yes.
He didn't move.
No. I said they wrote Thrillers attack Nash, who lies there.
He didn't sit up and grab his knee.
No.
He was dead.
He may not have been breathing in and out. Maybe deep meditation is what Nash was doing here.
It's like a Russo show, just dumber.
In many ways it was. Sid arrives in a car, I wrote.
Someone else's
Whose?
car. He's driving cars around.
At this point, it was his first car.
Yeah.
Backstage, Nash can barely stand.
Now he's selling.
Sarge Dwayne Bruce versus Goldberg.
Okay, let me talk about this for a second. Sarge is in the ring, and all of a sudden Goldberg's music hits. And I guess his TV got stolen.
Right.
So he couldn't find out what was going on. Keep in
understand
mind,
that.
I had a TV. I didn't know what was going on.
That's also true.
So Goldberg starts heading to the ring. The smoke goes up. He snorts it or whatever. And all of a sudden, the smoke dissipates, and he notices Sarge is in the ring.
That's right.
His original trainer. So Goldberg goes down there. He's all depressed. Gets in the ring.
Sad for Lauren Goldberg.
He says, Sarge, we don't have to do this match. We're not doing it. Sarge says, we got to do it. Goldberg says, no. You know what they're trying to do? This match is not happening. Sarge gets in his face, starts screaming at him. He's turning red. Goldberg will not do this match. Luger comes out, and he says, oh, so many tough decisions to make, Bill. If you forfeit this match, if you walk away from this match, you must retire from WCW.
What?
The streak
Because the
is over.
streak's over.
I could have sworn they gave that up.
Well, Flair went on I'm sure that Flair just went in business for himself.
Okay.
The story is still, if he does not win, he's out.
I see. Okay.
So now Bill's, he is such a man of honor
Yes.
that even with his career on the line, he will not face Sarge. Sarge starts beating the shit out of him. He's pounding on him, and he's pounding on this dude.
Oh, yeah?
He's laying in these forearms, and finally he starts to do the whip, and Goldberg reverses, big spear, jackhammer. The crowd goes batshit crazy for this. This was when I tweeted, if you took every Goldberg segment off every show in 1999 and 2000, and you just made like a tape, and you took it to the moon or Mars, you showed some fucking alien,
Okay.
they'd be like, this is the hottest promotion in the universe.
Actually, if you took it to the moon, they would think this has got to be their leader.
This goddamn show sucked, okay? Just fucking sucked. But this Goldberg segment with Sarge was so good.
It was.
The only good thing on the
Everything
show.
that Goldberg does, somebody did point out, well, what about when he went against the script? Okay, that one sucked, all right? Take that one out. Everything else that Goldberg was ever involved in on the most shitty, bottom-of-the-barrel bullshit WCW shows was so great.
He was.
This guy's a Hall of Famer.
He was the guy who could not be fucked up, and they tried.
Oh, they tried all right.
He tried to cut his arm off in a window.
Everything he did worked.
He was amazing. Jamie Noble meets with Meng. This is the 4 people hanging out, bebopping around in the hallway. Meng, Kiwi, Crowbar, and Daphne.
Everybody that's been killed minus Daphne.
But Daphne was there.
Yeah, but she didn't get hit with a chair.
That's true. Terry Funk did not wrap a chair around her head.
Right.
That's good. So Jamie Noble meets with all of them. He explains he no longer wants to hang out with Evan Courageous.
Well,
Evan comes running up. Jamie gives him the kayfabe signal. Evan says, Sid's up to something crazy in the parking lot. Y'all got to see this. And they all jump up to see what Sid is up to in the parking lot. Shane Douglas versus Lash LaRue. So they're doing this match. Chavo wants Lash to use a chair. Lash is saying, no, I do not want to use a chair. They're having reverse tug of war in the ropes. Chavo wins because they're both pushing the chair. You see.
I see.
yeah.
Chavo wins. He pushes the chair so hard that Lash spins around. He accidentally hits Shane Douglas with a chair, and thus he is disqualified.
I wrote, someone had a stupid idea, and they actually did it.
I wrote, holy God, what a terrible show.
Fucking horrendous finish. And then the huge erection comes down, screams at Chavo. This is where I just could not believe that their idea is, we're going to break this group up and people will care.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jarrett arrives at the Harrises, tells them, I brought you your sandwiches. And they are confused. Here I wrote, Sid arrives again in a different car. What on earth is going on?
Okay, hold on a second. I just figured this out. Are you telling me that the filthy animals
got their own 6-foot
okay,
sub?
hold on a second. They didn't just go spike the sandwich and catering. They set up a fake catering.
Yes.
They went out of their way to get 2 fucking giant-ass sandwiches.
And a camera.
How did the Harrises get into the fake catering as opposed to the real catering?
It's just their locker
This is
room.
even dumber.
It's just their
I
dressing room.
thought it was really dumb. This is even dumber.
They should have used a stick and a box.
That was on Thunder. I forget exactly what happened.
That's right.
But I will never forget Tony Schiavone screaming, they put him in a box!
Sid's being all insane, I wrote.
Pamela Paulshock interviews Mike Awesome about Bam Bam Bigelow. Awesome says, the career killer is itching to come back out.
Actually, hold on a second.
I've had it. I'm done.
Dude, he says, correct me if I'm wrong, okay?
I'm not mad. I'm done.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He says, I want an ambulance match with Bam Bam Bigelow.
Right.
Sure.
Just remember, when they're hauling you to the ER, you asked for it. Am I wrong? That was his promo.
No, now that I think about it, that is
That's what he said.
You're right.
That is actually word for word what he said.
Is anything on this show good?
Goldberg.
My
Goldberg and Pam
God.
Sweater. Gene goes to interview Jarrett and the Heresies. They have a tag elimination match against the Animals. I wrote here at Starrcade.
Elimination.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Yeah. But the Harrises are in great physical distress. They go running off the set. And again, in case you are the rock dumbest mouth breather out there, Tony has to explain, the laxatives are kicking in.
I will say, this was all really, really stupid.
God, this next segment.
But it was worth it because as they're being interviewed, as Gene is interviewing them, one of the Harrises simply says, if I move, something's going to happen. Tony Schiavone legit lost it.
Yes.
He starts howling. Probably just been broken by the show.
I have.
And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. You know how many times they do some stupid line in WWE and the announcers fake laugh?
Yes.
This time the announcer really laughed.
Yes, he did.
It actually made it funny. I laughed when Tony laughed.
So the match is supposed to be
Oh,
the Filthy Animals versus Jeff Jarrett and the Heresies
Right.
in an elimination trios match.
Correct.
The Heresies, who were already feeling ill backstage, they go through the time to come down to the ring so they can run to the back.
Well, they already got paid.
So Jeff Jarrett is now going it alone against all three filthy animals.
Excuse me. Jeff Jarrett is going in alone
Yes.
against three men.
So I found a third thing to like about this show. Goldberg, Pamela Paul Shock sweater,
Okay.
Tigress' side boob.
Okay.
Okay.
I can mention something about the actual match.
No. Oh, for the love of God, no. How dare you? How dare you accuse me of finding anything positive
I don't
in
know.
this
You
match?
started talking about it and then said you had something positive to say.
So, again, Jeff Jarrett, the most unlikable, unadmirable,
Absolutely.
non-entertaining guy, the most easy to boo guy on the entire
Preach,
roster.
Vinny. Preach.
He's in there against the filthy animals. Two small dudes who do cool moves, and one guy who sometimes says funny things.
Okay.
It's 3-on-1,
Advantage baby faces.
advantage baby faces. He's gonna go it alone.
Yeah.
They start the match. There's some kind of falderall happening. And the next thing I know, Jeff Jarrett pins Conan with the stroke.
Are you kidding me? I wrote.
He overcame the odds, hit his move, and pinned their captain.
He's winning.
What's going on?
Vinny, you're forgetting, but last week on
Really?
the show, they also had the man disadvantage with Jeff Jarrett. Remember when he was fighting valiantly and the people started to cheer him?
No.
Yeah, that was last week. They're doing the same goddamn thing again. So he's eliminated one man. It's now 2-on-1.
So Jarrett's music plays because nobody knows what's going on.
That's right.
I'm watching Ray and Kidman get near fall after near fall. They can't finish him off. I
No.
can't believe what I'm seeing. Then it was time for a ref bump. Here is how they bumped the ref. They sat down and said, how can we bump this referee? What's an idea where he may accidentally get clobbered and laid out? So Jarrett crotches Rey Mysterio Jr. on the top rope. Ray bounces up and down. He sells his scrotum. Then it's time to get off the ropes. He steps off. He lifts his leg into the air, and his foot bumps in the referee's head, and the referee falls over dead.
Think about how little thought went into the actual match and how much thought went into that stupid ref bump.
So the point of bumping the referee was so Jarrett could hit Kidman with a guitar shot, but then not pin him because Rey Mysterio hits him with a sunset flip and pins him instead.
Jarrett almost beat two men.
Not only, Brian, did he almost beat two men, but if this had not been elimination rules, he would have beaten three.
Yeah. Yes.
What in the holy hell was this?
Well, the words I wrote here, stunning incompetence. I stand by that.
Sid parks the last car. It's finally revealed he has driven all the cars into a big circle so they can fight in the parking lot. Scott Steiner versus Sergeant AWOL.
This was fine.
It was a perfectly fine little TV main event.
Steiner in the end of 2000 was having fun. Nothing happening.
His
main event championship
Title
matches
reign
regularly.
after two matches is a billion times better than Booker T's.
Yes.
He knows the first part of the match, you just do whatever, you kill some time, then you do most of your big moves, then you give the babyfaces comeback, then you hit your finish and win. Great! This is a fine template. I like when Sergeant AWOL, the Wall, goes to grab a table, and we are told that's AWOL's trademark.
It is?
Not Public Enemy, not Sabu, not
AWOL.
the Dudleys. The Wall
Yes.
uses the table. So he sets up the table. He hits the choke slam and sets up the table. The announcers are furious at him for not going for the pin. And it is a huge tactical error because Steiner exploded him through the table, which is not a DQ. And he hits the recliner and he wins. Fine. Sid then challenges Steiner to come fight in the parking lot.
You're right. It wasn't a DQ. Yeah, Sid appears on the big screen and says, "You're ducking me. I'm outside." Like, how the fuck was he supposed to know you're outside driving a bunch of cars in a circle?
So Steiner, now that he's been challenged, goes to fight him. To demonstrate what a psycho he is, he takes his lead pipe, he breaks several car windows.
Yes.
And then he goes in to fight, and we see Steiner coming in from the left. And from the right, because he can never not be a cartoon, Sid has both his hands way over his head, and he's sprinting.
He's
running
running
like Usain Bolt.
to do a double sledge on Scott Steiner, who has a... There's even better. Steiner has a metal pipe, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so, listen. if you have a metal pipe and a dude is running at you and he has his arms over his head.
Like a bullseye.
I've got an idea.
I mean, maybe he's swinging the pipe at his guts. Instead, Sid runs at him with his arms in double sledge position, and Steiner boots him in the gut. Hell of an attack, Sid. He planned this for 2 hours. He got the keys from some dude. He
All the
went
keys.
and he arranged all of the cars in a circle. And after 2 hours of planning, his idea was, I'll run and double sledge the guy. And Steiner responds by booting him in the gut and beating his ass.
Well,
Basically what happened.
Sid does a quick comeback, but then they end up on the car, and the show goes off the air with Scott Steiner beating the shit out of him. The champion is beating the shit out of the challenger, who arranged this whole thing in the first place over the course of 2 hours. That's your go-home angle for Starrcade.
This is the go-home show, isn't it?
Yes!
Oh, Jesus, God.
That's the go-home angle.
I didn't realize that until right now. This was a go-home show. Holy Mother of God.
That's one of the worst shows I ever saw.
I can't.
That's the end.
I'll say.
Okay. Whatever.
Let me say it again.
Whatever.
I didn't do this justice in even the reissue of Death of WCW. This show deserves its own fucking book.
You're not wrong.
The death of the December 12th episode of
Jesus Christ. This was a horrible show. Horrible.
Oh, God.
Can you make it through this report?
I shall do my best. I shall bravely endeavor on. The finishes on this horrible, horrible show were pin in a mixed tag after 2 failed interference spots, double DQ in a god-awful hardcore match, clean pin, technically clean pin in a 3-way tag match that was really a handicap match, clean pin, DQ when one guy accidentally hits another with a chair, pin in a 3-on-1 elimination match, but not until the heel overcomes the odds and pins one of the babyfaces, so if it had not been an elimination match, he would have won clean, and submission after a table spot is not a DQ.
I got just 2 quick things to say. Number 1, this had to be the worst non-Russo WCW Nitro show I've ever seen.
It was up there.
It was way up there.
And number 2, it was only a week ago that I was talking about how WCW had done such a superior job
Yes.
to WWE
That's right.
in building up their pay-per-view.
Talking about peaking too early.
Dude, did the tables fucking turn this week? Oh my God. Can you imagine people actually bought Starrcade after this show? I can't. All right, we're out of time, everybody. It's almost the end of December.
Yeah.
We're almost done. We're going to wrap it up, everybody. Tomorrow, hey, thank God tomorrow's Wednesday. We can watch AEW and NXT. Vinny and I will be back to recap it on Thursday. If you want to send gifts for the Christmas show, P.O. Box 426, Woodinville, Washington at 98072. That is Post Office Box 426, Woodinville, Washington 98072. That's it, everybody. We're out of here. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Adios.